So let's just talk about life. You know what that is. That's the difference between living and dying. So anyway, our world enlarges in human population by 100 million or so new mouths to feed over deaths every single year. 100 million people on this very finite planet. We are 8.2 billion people, more or less. It's probably quite a lot more. But nonetheless, that's what they claim. And that's just roughly the amount of agricultural acres that provide us with food. Our ability to eat has greatly enlarged because of the oceans, but they are, tapped out. So either we save them or we go extinct. We starve to death. There is not enough water for more people, and that means zero population control is not an option. It's a fact of life, or it's a fact of your death. It's not a game. We have to accept the fact of what is true. And if you don't accept the fact of what are true, regardless of what you want or not, you die because what is true is going to govern what will be the future. So our future is decided by what we do now. You always wanted to play God as a human race, so you get to play God. Either you make the right changes or you die. You become extinct. And of course the university has led us, and I don't use that lightly. Every person that leads has a university diploma. So it's not Republican or Democrat in this USA or this world. It's simply the university leads because they're called the experts, and of course they're not. Or we would not be facing threats from every side. The university is what caused our inflation in this USA. They took all the money and they spent it on themselves. That's a fact. You can go investigate it. COVID is a prime example of that. The university says fear, and Trump in particular said, okay. So he released $6 trillion, which is $60,000 for each and every one of 100 million shots. And that, of course, didn't stop there because power doesn't let it stop there. It wants whatever it can get. It's a war. Let's take it all. And of course, that's what they do. And our situation as a nation is now confronted with the people who have and want power. They want to be bullies. Trump is trying to organize the primary leaders of this world into a small group so that they can take it all as a group. It's not an uncommon thing. That's what power does. That's what hate does. So the end result is that you can believe whatever you want, but the world is never going to be what it once was. The world is never going to go back in human population to where you believe that things are better now. Because, we've grown 50%, doubled the population in the last 50 years. That's a fact of life. And we cannot avoid it because nobody's going to just lay down and die for you, and you're not going to lay down and die for them. So we have to modify our behavior so that, we can survive. And you don't want to because you don't want to. And that, of course, is not going to keep you alive. Because want has absolutely nothing to do with whether you're alive or not. It's just what you believe. And belief is whatever you want. So you can believe whatever you want and claim it's true whatever you want, but it's not true. Only truth is true. So I have spent a lifetime saying we need to investigate and prove what is true. Prove the cost of being wrong. And the entire world said, absolutely not. I want what I want, and I want to be rich. And of course, wealth just simply means that you have slaves to do what you want them to do for you. You don't have to do any work. You have slaves for that. So it doesn't make any real difference what I tell you because you don't listen. But I'm going to tell you a little bit anyway. Because our world is about to die, Not because I say so, because the evidence is real. You can claim that global warming doesn't exist, but it does. We can prove that with the amount of ice that is left at the North Pole and the South Pole and everywhere. And without that ice, the planet cannot cool itself in the summer. And without that ice, which grows a primary food source for the ocean life underneath it, then there is no food for ocean life. And on it goes, because there are consequences to every truth. And your truth is that you've chosen to be extinct. That's your truth. You have weapons of mass destruction everywhere. You have people who want to be God and are mutilating nature. Nature is everything to us all. Everything to us all. It builds the body that we depend upon. It builds the food source that we depend upon. It builds everything that we depend upon. There is no such thing as evolution. Evolution is called chaos. Chaos built it. And of course that's what hate wants. It lives for chaos. That's what war is. War is chaos. So the distinction that you have a choice is irrelevant and wrong. We must, fight for ourselves at this point, or we're all going to die, because it's a small planet, so they say, or more correctly, humanity can destroy us. Just a few can destroy us all. The universities have collected every single biological weapon that there is. Every single disease, every single poison, spread them around the world. Millions have access to that in one form or another. And all they have to do is release a biological agent like COVID was, to get money like COVID did, take power like COVID was used for. They released the Nazis on us. Because, Nazis just means that we want power. We're going to take power. The power is ours. And you have no say, which is, of course, exactly what COVID did in this USA. And you think that it can't happen here. Well, it did happen here. It happened in your lifetime just a few years back. You even stole your face, put diapers on your mouth so that you didn't breathe out on somebody else. But of course, the masks were, it didn't begin to regulate the size. The virus could go right through. That's the simple truth of it. The virus could go right through, and if it didn't, it would collect on the mask, and then you put your hands and face and fingers on it, put it all over everything, and you just wipe it all over everything. So it's more and more and more there. So you get more and more. In other words, it didn't do you a nickel's worth of good. But it released a whole flood of Nazi, I'm afraid, which is a believer in a cult. Because the cult says what you believe, not you. Cult doesn't prove what you believe. They just say, believe. And that's, of course, what humanity did with COVID. So what is important today is everything. Because, extinction is a one-time reality. You cannot wait to see if it will come true. You'll be dead. You cannot wait until absolutely we have to change now, because you'll be dead. It will be too late to change it back. It's the living world. It's not a dying world that you can revive. It's a living world that will die. And if you don't understand that, you really should. Try to think a little bit. Try to dig your head out of their ass. Because, the COVID is not God. And injecting chaos into all of nature, which is genetic biology, and that's exactly what they do, is inject chaos into nature, is going to end up with Armageddon, which is a biblical prophecy of nature and chaos. And of course, then there's the endless water resources are dead, because like Mexico City today, they're consuming every drop of water that is available, and then the aquifer collapses because there's no water to hold it apart, and so it can't be reused, and so there's war coming from that, and the war for water is very intense, because the end result is you can't live more than 3 days without water of some sort. And you're not going to go buy bottled water because there's just not going to be enough. And you have to stop with the ethanol because it's a useless thing, and it takes your water. You don't have water to spend. You are a planet of human beings that are killing itself. You believe what you believe, but you prove nothing at all. And that's a sin. You believe what you believe and you prove nothing. You just accept lies. And you accept experts, and you accept the TV is going to tell you what you think. But the TV only listens to experts. So you need to think for yourself. And if you think for yourself, you need to understand what is true. And if you understand what is true, then you'll be far more able to make a wise decision. So we have to know what is true. Redress of grievances is a First Amendment law in this USA. It's the law. It's a legal authority. It's the contract of our government that we can, in fact, change our own lives, take control of our own government, because we do own it, and redo whatever it is that we need to change, because we are the owners. That's a very powerful thing. We are the owners, and our employees are not. They are simply our employees. And their oath of office is to protect and obey the Constitution, which is, about making society better for us, making, the society, or the choices of society, something that the future can survive. Or more simply, leadership over the last 50 years of university leads, and they're the only ones that lead, have been entirely corrupt and a conspiracy against democracy. Because when the expert is the only one that gets to decide, that's just simply communism. And so the insurgency is communism. And while communism isn't entirely bad, it depends upon the reality of who is leading. And what we have been led to is our own extinction. We have to make the decisions that are going to survive for us. We have to. Our leaders are not going to do that. They've proven that. So that means we have redress. And if you don't think that that the police state is coming, just look at Nazi Germany in World War II, pre-World War II. It's the same path we're on. And like COVID, power can take over in a heartbeat. Guns everywhere. People saying, "You will obey me, or you will die," and on it goes. And particularly with electronic money, they can just shut you off. Click, there you go. No more of that. Click, all done. Click, no more. So on. Because the fact of the matter is that we're so tied together into one big lump that we can just be rolled down the hill in one grand descent. All of us together. Because that's what you chose. And so we have, of course, weapons of mass destruction that'll come. How will it not come? You're going to run out of water. Just like Mexico City, which just 22 million people were running out of water. And they have no place to go, which means that they're on our border, this U.S. border. There's no place to go. They have no water to drink. They have to move. And of course, if 22 million people come across the border, they'll overcome the water resources there, and then they'll move north and so on. And what are you left with? Stop them, stop them, stop them, which is, of course, exactly what the United States hired Trump to do, is to stop them. But of course, that means there will be guns. And guns means there will be secret police. And after you get secret police spread throughout the nation, that means that power is in charge and you have no choice. And just like COVID, they're going to force you to do whatever it is you want. And in fact, I submitted to COVID too a little bit at the very end of it, just before people started to wake up a little bit. I decided, the hell with it. They're not going to wake up. They're not going to, they're just defeated. This USA, they're just defeated. With such a little thing as coat. It wasn't a great fear. It was just takeover. And the end result of that is, I'm just not going to starve for you. But the same day I chose that, people started to wake up a little bit. So the end result, of course, is that I'm not going to fight for you anymore. I'll work for myself a little bit, but you know, you're on your own. You just didn't care. So if you